Hey, it's me, Rika. Today we're going to have a look at the brand new hero from the Dimensionals, Baba Yaga. So as you can see, this is her appearance and how she'll animate throughout the battle. So let's have a look at her abilities. Her ultimate skill reads, dropping by, Melusina summons a treacherous treehouse in the middle of the battlefield that deals damage equal to 180% of her attack rating to all enemies within an area of effect. Also, this will knock them over and leaving them stunned for 2 seconds. Several moments later, deadly witchfire is launched out of the treehouse, dealing damage equal to 230% of Melusina's attack rating to all enemies within the original area of effect. The treacherous treehouse prioritizes the most densely packed area of enemies. So if you have heroes such as Aziz, Moriel, or Pippa who can group up enemies really well, this will essentially allow it to deal even more damage and allow you to control enemies even better. So her level 2 reads, enemies are stunned for 3 seconds, and her level 3 reads, damage of the witchfire is increased from 230 all the way to 270%. Her next ability, Treacherous Treehouse, Melusina commands her treacherous treehouse to launch an attack from below the ground, dealing damage equal to 240% of Melusina's attack rating to a small area of enemies. If the attack successfully deals damage, the affected enemies will be knocked to the ground and stunned for 2.5 seconds, while being dealt additional damage that equals between 2 to 6% of their max health values. So this essentially scales off their health. Similar to Damon, the value of the additional damage increases according to how low her enemy's current health is. The value of the additional damage cannot exceed 200% of Melusina's own attack rating. If a target is currently under effects of Soul Pulver, then base damage of the skill is increased to 150% of its original value. The level 3 reads, minimum additional damage is increased to 4%, up from 2%, and then the maximum is increased to 8%. So it is a range of 4 to 8% once you have ascended her and she has reached a specific level. Now, the next ability, Alchemic Witchcraft. Melusina cycles through 3 different types of alchemical potions, which are dropped by her raven onto the most densely packed area of enemies. When a potion lands, it explodes, dealing damage equal to 230% of Melusina's attack rating to a certain area of enemies and produces one of the following effects. Potion of Deceleration. Struck enemies lose 15% attack rating and 15% attack speed. However, this is not haste, so this is a slightly worse debuff for a duration of 4 seconds. This effect cannot be stacked. The next potion of Innovation. Struck enemies lose 75 points of energy. Potion of Enmity. Struck enemies lose health equal to 40% of Melusina's attack rating every second for a duration of 4 seconds. This effect cannot be stacked. So the level 2 reads that the Potion of Deceleration lasts for 5 seconds. Level 3 reads, Potion of Enmity causes enemies to lose health equal to 50% of Melusina's attack rating every second. And the engraving, level 4, reads Potion of Innovation causes enemies to lose 125 points of energy. So, her final ability, Soul Pulver. Melusina waves her magic staff in the air, and as she pulvers an enemy's soul, immediately stealing 6% of their current attack and defense ratings, simultaneously causing the enemies to suffer the effects of Soul Pulver for 10 seconds. During the following 6 seconds, Melusina will steal 2% of the enemy's current attack rating and defense every 2 seconds. So this assumes that they'll stack 3 times for a duration of 6 seconds. When Melusina or the enemy dies, or the effects of Soul Pulver end, all Pulvered attributes shall be returned. The skill may only be used against the same target a total of 1 times, and the max value stolen from any attribute is based on the current percentage on Melusina's own corresponding attribute. Level 2 reads immediately steals 10% of the enemy's attack and defense. Level 3 reads steals 3% every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. So this is a total of 9%. And in the level 16 engraving reads, the skill may only be used 2 times against the same enemy target, but will not cast again upon enemies already suffering from soul pilfer. So when this is, for example, combined with a max HP or health point scaling, this will allow it to deal a pretty significant amount of damage to enemies throughout the entire fight of the battle. So let's have a look at a signature item. The signature item Soul Taker reads, when the skill Soul Pilfer is continuously stealing attributes from an enemy, it shall also steal 30 points of energy from each time. So every single 2 seconds for a duration of 6 seconds, this will steal 30 points of energy. This is pretty significant, especially when you upgrade it to 10 and 20 signature item. When the Soul Pilfer is continuously stealing attributes from an enemy, it shall steal 40 points from them each time. When the skill Soul Pilfer immediately steals from an enemy, it shall immediately steal 80 energy points from them. So as soon as the ability Soul Pilfer is used, 80 points will be stolen. And an addition of 40 points every single 2 seconds will be taken. So 80 plus a total of 120. So this is 200 points of energy that will be stolen from the enemy. When the attributes are stolen by Soul Pilfer or returned to the enemy receives the full value of attributes back. But Melusina still permanently retains the value of the returned attributes. Each retained attribute will not exceed 20% of its initial value. So if, for example, she is grouped up in a stall-based team, she can significantly scale her damage and her defense, and she'll be able to deal more and more damage the longer the fight progresses. Now let's have a look at her furniture. Her 3-piece reads, when Melusina is dealt fatal damage for the first time, the damage will be ignored and Melusina will return to her treacherous treehouse, during which time she will recover health. Over 5 seconds, Melusina recovers 10% of her max health each time she previously cast the skill Soul Pilfer, with a minimum value of 30% health that will be restored. Once the skill has ended, Melusina shall return to the battlefield. So this is similar to Leonardo da Vinci's and Prince of Persia's cheat death ability, where this allows them to essentially heal up a bit and move to a different position. The 9 of 9 reads, Melusina also recovers energy while within her treacherous treehouse. Melusina recovers 100 points of energy each time she previously cast Soul Pilfer, with a minimum of 600 points of energy. So this allows her to restore a significant amount of energy while she is in this recovery state in the treehouse. So let's have a look at how she does in battle. All right. So from the get-go, you'll see this claw over here. That claw essentially is the one that stuns them for a couple of seconds. And these are potions that she's throwing out, the different colored ones. As you can see, that's the red potion. Then she throws around a purple potion. There we go. And there's a slightly misty blue potion as well. There's a purple potion. So each of them will have their respective effects, as you can see. And they have a significantly large area where they will strike enemies. So let's have a look at her ultimate ability. Essentially, she summons this massive treehouse that runs across the battlefield, that stuns them for a couple of seconds, and she deals a significant amount of damage to all of those enemies. There we go. There's again another treehouse. All right, so let's have a look at her 30 SI and how they interact. All right. So as you can see, that her potions are really effective, especially when the enemies are grouped up. This allows us to deal a significant amount of damage and gives a lot of control to her allies. So let's have a look at what she was able to do. So it looks like she did a pretty significant amount of damage. However, this is similar to a tank. So let's have a look at another setup. So let's put a couple of damage dealers and supporting the team and see how this works out. There we go. There's her ultimate ability that she used on the enemies. So currently I'm using 3 damage dealers, both Leonardo da Vinci, Gwyneth, and Baba Yaga, the new hero. So let's now compare and see who did the most damage out of this entire team. Alright, there we go. She did the most damage out of all of them, even though Gwyneth was placed in the middle and she was able to strike all of the backline heroes. She procs her cheat death ability. Alright. So there we go. I'm going to place her on the front row and let's have a look at how this interacts with the enemies. There we go. There's a little treehouse, and as you can see, that's her animation that she provides when she's in her cheat death state. She's busy recovering health and energy, and she returns to her original position. There we go. She just used her ultimate to summon her treehouse, and she's busy throwing the red potion onto the most densely packed enemies. Don't forget to get her from the exchange that is currently available, as after the exchange she'll be significantly more expensive and it'll take you a significantly longer time in order to be able to get this new hero. And you never know when this hero will become the meta in the current state of the game.